What's a delicious poor man's meal? Sleep. Edit. Yo. Thank you guys for all of the awards. I've had to sleep through dinner and breakfast many times. Hope all of you who are currently in that situation will have better days. They're coming. Trust me. On a more depressing note, this is true as fuck. Been broke as fuck at times. The kids were fed, but I would just sleep instead of eating potatoes in every way possible. I like the vodka version. Fried eggs and toast. I love a scrambled egg sandwich even better than a hamburger. Grilled cheese sandwich. ETA, y'all are making some fancy-ass sandwiches, and don't get me wrong, I'm not mad about it. But a cheap-ass grilled cheese made with stale white Wonder Bread. I can't believe it's not butter, and some Kraft singles holds a special place for me. Response summary to grilled cheese is a delicious poor man food. Use only the finest artisan French bread just after cooling from your bread oven. Lightly coat with a mixture of goat butter and ghee. Sprinkle the bottom of the pan with saffron. Blend your mixture of Gruyere in a mild cheddar aged exactly 7.94 years. Toast in a cast iron skillet until the butter resembles hue number 8B4513. Flip only once. Toasting side 2 exactly 7/11 of the time spent toasting side 1. Remove and let cool for 37 seconds. Adding 1.2 seconds per inch of local rainfall projected in the next 8 days. Cut off crusts. Eat with a silver fork with 62% handle weight. Spaghetti with oil and garlic. Quick, easy, cheap. White bread garlic toast. For dessert, flour tortilla with butter, cinnamon and sugar. Cream cheese and jam is also really good on a tortilla. Only had the chamche because we got cream cheese from the food bank that one time, but damn. Ramen with a side of ramen, flush down with water. Save some crunchy ramen in the beginning, then sprinkle it on top at the end. Picante beef is the best flavor. Beans and rice. As a broke vegan, I can confirm beans are my go-to. They can make soups, toppings, salads, and so on for a very low price. Tonight, for example, I made lentil meatballs to go with my pasta. When I am feeling lazy, I just cook beans as is. Serious answer here. Get a can of black beans and some cheap salsa. Put the drained beans and some salsa in a skillet and let it cook for like 10 minutes. Crack a couple eggs and let them poach in the beans. Serve with cheap bread or tortillas. All very cheap ingredients. And it's super high in protein, so it's filling and healthy. You can also saute in any veggies you have sitting around or put in whatever spices you have lying around. Isn't this pretty much huevos rancheros? Yeah, but he gave instructions, so that's cool. Walk-in tacos. Basically, you get a snack-size bag of your favorite chips and fill it up with taco meat, lettuce, tomatoes, sour cream and stuff like that. Now you have walk-in tacos. Yes, classic Midwestern dish. Classy and convenient. Some tips. Use Doritos. Crush them up before you put anything in. You don't need cheese when using Doritos unless you want that extra cheesy goodness, which I highly recommend. And for some reason they just taste better when you eat it with a plastic fork. They just do. Macaroni and cheese, with cut-up hot dogs in it. Settle down, Mr. Rockefeller. Stir-fry, chicken and rice, and tears. So many tears. Instead of soy sauce. Lower sodium, monsieur. Ramen, drained with no broth, with poor man's pad thai sauce. Mix a tablespoon of peanut butter into a small ramekin with enough soy sauce and sriracha to be able to thoroughly mix it into a smooth sauce. Dump over the cooked ramen. And baby, you've got a stew going. It tastes good. It's got a bit of protein, bit of fat, bit of carbs, little sweet, little heat. It's not the greatest nutrition you could eat, but it's way better for you than Oreos, and if you want to clean up the macros a little, you can sub PB2 for the peanut butter and coconut aminos for the soy, and that'll cut the fat and sodium at least in half. And it's vegan, if you care at all. And baby, you've got a stew going. Poor man's stew, ground beef, potatoes, and onions. Let the potatoes and onions cook with the already cooked ground beef in a pot of water. Add salt and pepper to taste. You monsieur. Baked potato with cheese and broccoli on top. Buy a pound of baking potatoes, a block of cheese, and frozen bag of broccoli. It'll make you at least 3 to 6 of those. If you're feeling really crazy, then throw in some chili too. Canned chili for hot dogs works best. It can be as cheap as like 0.50 cents. Beans on toast with some grated cheese on top. A grilled cheese sandwich with a side of Campbell's bean and bacon soup. It'll set you back about $1.50. Or Campbell's tomato soup. Canned corned beef hash. Enough salt to pickle, yeah, but absolutely delicious on buttered bread. Shit on a shingle, aka creamed chipped beef on toast. Such an underrated dish. Is it a Midwestern dish? Because some people look like I'm crazy when I mention it. Add some peas to throw in some extra fiber. Mac and cheese with cut-up hot dogs. My man, especially if the next day you throw it in a frying pan to heat it up. I can't fathom people having leftover mac and cheese unless it's the homemade kind. You're gonna hate me. Out of the homemade mac and cheeses I've tasted, I still prefer the box stuff. Granted, I probably just haven't had a good homemade one maybe. Shepherd's pie. Not where I'm shopping currently. Lamb is fucking expensive. Cottage pie is also excellent, and much cheaper. Make it with beef. Then you've got cottage pie. Pancakes. My grandma grew up during the Depression. She said her mother served pancakes for dinner so often she got sick of them. And when she left the house she never ever made pancakes. I was a single mom in university. To stretch my budget, I made homemade soups. Every day for years I had homemade soup for lunch and sometimes for dinner too. Do you have any tips for making your own soup? 1. Homemade stock bones. Water, apple cider vinegar and salt. I just learned this one a year ago and the ACV is key. Google stock with ACV and you can get the right proportions. 2. Dried beans are cheaper and better than canned. Check out the video Carla Make Beans on YouTube. 3. I do a lot of the tedious work ahead of time. I will peel and freeze garlic cloves. I find they are easier to slice thin when they are frozen. I also will cook and freeze other veggies I plan on using so I can stock up when things are on sale. 4. For recipes. My favorite site is All Recipes, Monsieur. Another post showed alarm at the possibility that there could be a ramen noodle shortage because of the virus. I believe it. It took me about 5 times of going to the grocery store to find some in my town. I make hobo dinner when I go camping. Ground beef, onions, carrots, potatoes and a bit of garlic. Wrap it in tin foil. I prefer the non-stick kind. And throw it on some coals in your campfire. My friends who have never camped with me are always impressed. Straight up peanut butter. Don't say you've never filled up that way. Can be a great survival food too. Take a jar of peanut butter. Throw in some nuts and raisins and toss it in a backpack and you have a delicious, high carb, high protein, high energy snack that can keep you going for days in a tough situation. Did no one have rice with ketchup or butter growing up? I forgot about buttered rice. But, with a little butter, flour and either milk or broth, you can have rice and gravy. Cheap delicious calories. My mom would sprinkle sugar on butter rice to get us to eat it growing up. She'd also sometimes serve it with pan-fried bologna. I thought it was a treat. But looking back, it's because we were poor as fuck. We got sugar and a little cinnamon on white rice as a struggle dessert. It's actually really tasty. I sometimes still eat rice and butter together for a snack, especially if I have a stomach ache. If I'm looking for a more meal, then I'll do rice, scrambled egg and soy sauce, ramen noodles with a couple of eggs poached in the broth. Maybe toss in some frozen vegetables. Absolutely delicious. A perfectly soft boiled egg. I could never eat just one of those. I used to love pork and beans as a kid. Sweet beans and cut up hot dogs, lol. Beanie weenies. Quesadilla, basically just a more ethnic grilled cheese. A basic Korean meal can be very cheap. For example, white rice, kimchi, doenjang jjigae, similar to miso soup. Some other side dishes: prepared bean sprouts, pickled radish, cucumbers, etc. Fried egg on top of the rice. Bonus if you have some dried seaweed to wrap the rice in with your chopsticks. The above is a bit basic, but mixing all the banchan and rice with some red pepper paste, gochujang, and sesame oil, you can make bibimbap, which is awesome. Eggs in a basket, sometimes called toad in the hole. Cut out a circle in a piece of bread. Toast up in a pan with melted butter. Crack an egg in the middle and use the bread remnants to dip in the runny yolk. So simple but feels fancy. What is this? I think you'll find toad in the hole is actually sausage and Yorkshire pudding. Well said, old chap. Just had that for lunch the other day. My old housemates and I would make poverty pasta. Grated zucchini and carrot, a tin of mushrooms and diced tomatoes. A cheap stir-through sauce. Easy, filling, kinda healthy, and dirt cheap. Lots of people now want to eat those kinds of noodles. They eat them with a keto or low-carb diet. Definitely rice and beans, lentils. But for a fancy-looking cheap dish, stuffed squash. Get a big squash, cut in half. Scoop the seeds out and fill the cavity with whatever stuffing your desires and circumstances allow. Stale bread, cornbread, cooked rice, barley, or really any grain, are just boxed stuffing. A bit of brown sausage can be nice, but you don't need a ton. Some salt and a bit of herbs like parsley or thyme if you have the Monsieur Bigot, and you've got something that looks nice but didn't cost much at all. A campfire and a can of beans. Hopefully baked beans, but whatever the food shelf is providing that day is alright. SOS hamburger steak on mashed potatoes and toast with brown gravy. That's so much different SOS that I grew up with. The one I'm familiar with is also called cream chip beef. It's chipped beef with a white creamy gravy over it, usually served over toast. Congee. Add rice and lots of water to a pot. Can keep it plain or sprinkle some chicken bouillon powder and fresh ginger slices. Cook until it reaches creamy porridge consistency. Top your bowl with scallions. I make this when I'm feeling sick since it's easy on the stomach. Beans and rice. You can get massive bags of dried rice and beans for pretty cheap at wholesale stores. And a big bag will last you a long time. Add a little butter and some cheap spices, and you've got yourself a tasty and healthy meal. Buttered toast with cinnamon and sugar. Every cuisine in the world, poor people's dishes are usually their best ones. Maybe I'm just generalizing. Example: white gazpacho, from Spain, was a peasant meal. The base of it is garlic, stale bread soaked in water to soften it, and almonds. American barbecue could be the poster child of this idea. Emo. Cajun food definitely, but was barbecue generally a poor man's food or just a common man's? Mod's reason that barbecue came about is because they're generally tough or fatty cuts of meat that need to be cooked at a low temperature for a long time, coupled with local spices and influence. So similar to street tacos being made with cheap cuts of meat, so is barbecue. A lot of that has changed now, that's for sure. Eggs cooked in many different ways. I prefer omelets with chopped veggies, grilled cheese and cream of tomato soup. Jambalaya. Get 2 boxes of pre-seasoned rice mix at Aldi. Get a couple sausages for $2 minus 3. Will feed you for a week. Poor man steak. Seasoned hamburger patty with sautéed mushrooms and onions on top. Burritos. Chicken-flavored ramen. Mac and cheese with ground beef. Taco mix. And baked in a pie plate with breadcrumbs and extra cheese on top. It's just amazing. Rice, butter, and cheese. Asterisk. Boil 1 cup white rice. 20 cents. Add cilantro if you have it. Asterisk. Prepare 2 cups black beans. $1.39. Soak 24 hours or cook in Instapot from dry. Asterisk. Melt 1 tablespoon neutral oil of choice. I prefer olive, but butter works. Olive oil is pricey, so butter is a good if for poverty budget. Asterisk dice 1/2 onion. 25 cents. Fry onion in oil. When translucent, add soaked beans to fried onions. Stir in oregano, cayenne, chili pepper, black pepper, garlic salt, and 1 teaspoon lime juice concentrate. Let flavors mingle until cooked. All less than 50 cents total per serving. Asterisk scoop beans over rice. Optional. Top with a little cheese and sour cream. Or diced tomato. 75 cents. The upfront cost really isn't much, and you can stock it in bulk. One batch costs about $3 and makes 4 servings. Don't skimp on the oregano. You can get a lot of it for cheap. Start grating your own cheese. That bag shit is stupid expensive. You can get a lot more variety, better flavor, and more volume if you grate your own cheese. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.